Video numero tres. Feeling good? Video 1 giving us the inside view. Mrs. Thomas and her first grade teacher crew used rhythm to stick the Pledge of Allegiance in our brains, the same way that Shakespeare used sticky rhythm to glue his lines in his actors' minds. Video 2, we sussed out the main rhythm of da-dum, also known as I am. That's the sneaky beat that Billy Bard and his buddies used in most of their lines to get the actors and the audience's heart rates in sync. But this can't be it, right? I mean, if we put Mrs. Thomas's rhythms in a play, like if all the actors said their lines in the rhythm of the Pledge of Allegiance, you would probably want to beat out your brains using a 16-pound stinking dead catfish in hopes the pain would drown it all out. Yeah, those rhythms were good in first grade when we were all first learning the pledge, but then came the long slog through the rest of grade school, and all that pounding is exactly what led to us slumping back into our chairs at that last dum-dum. So we're not going to pound Billy's lines like that. The good news is that he didn't build them with the rhythm of the pledge. He built his lines overwhelmingly with 5 I ams, making them iambic pentameter lines that sneak that heartbeat in underneath, not too short, not too long, but at a good length for thinking and talking in English. But there's something about 5 da-dums in every line that seems problematic too, right? I mean, if the actors are all going to sound da-dum 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 for several hours, I'm going to want that catfish carcass nearby to put me out of my misery. So here's the thing that gets left out when they teach you about this iambic stuff, the da-dumming and all. Yeah, 10 syllables in a line. Got it. 10 syllables split into 5 stresses and 5 unstresses. Yup. But the deal is that all 5 stresses are not stressed equally. In fact, some of the stressed syllables can carry less weight than some other unstressed syllables in the line. Which syllables are labeled stressed or unstressed has everything to do with the syllables in each foot. You can't compare them with syllables outside the foot. That's why we divide the line into feet in the first place. It's like having a bubblegum blowing competition in your school. You may be the best in your homeroom, but there's someone in the class next door who's better than you, and someone in the room after that one who is better than her. 5 different homerooms, each one has a leader, but they aren't all equally strong. So, popping this bubblegum story and back to the beats. Let's check the beats in a line of Shakespeare, say from The Merchant of Venice. How about the first line in the show? In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. Check it for number of syllables. There's 10. Divided into feet. There's 5. Find stresses within the feet. In sooth, I know not why I am so sad. Yep. Iambic pentameter, and making every stress equal has me reaching for that catfish. But here's where the cool stuff starts, because this is where we have to get these words off the page and on the stage. Not squiggles on paper, but real meaning through someone's ear. Because this just isn't a line of Shakespeare, like some dead thing in your biology class that's been pulled out of a jar of formaldehyde to be dissected. It's a thought. A feeling, a living thing. And while it's good to know anatomy and component parts, our real interest is to know how these things work in time. Not static in pieces, but living in motion. In a play, we witness one person who is moved enough to speak to others. In this case, it's Antonio, the guy who is the Merchant of Venice in the title. And this is the first sentence we're going to hear when we go to the show. This Antonio guy, he's being followed by 2 buddies, Salario and Salanio, also merchants in the town of Venice, nowhere near the kind of player that Antonio is. We're catching up to them in the middle of a conversation. One of them, Sal, seems to have asked Antonio something that we didn't hear. The first thing we hear is Antonio's answer. And the cool thing will be that even though we don't hear the question Antonio was asked, depending on how he answers, we'll know what the question was. If we hear Antonio say, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad," we'll know that the question was along the lines of, but why are you feeling down, Antonio? Why? Well, in sooth, I know not why I am so sad. But if Antonio says, "In sooth, I know not why I am so sad," the response would be to a question of, well, don't you know? Don't you know, Antonio? Well, in sooth, I know not why I am so sad. But if Antonio drops, in sooth, I know not why I am so sad, then it's probably because the sows are getting on his nerves and he has to stop them with, in sooth. So there's this form, this iambic pentameter form. But that outline is there for us to fill with the life of the play, of what's happening between the people in the event. And the wild thing here is that folks who are really, really good at this stuff are able to make 5 different levels of stress on each line, 5 out of 10. Take your shot. Try pissed off Antonio, using sooth as the big word and others decreasing. Or melancholy Antonio, with sad as the real deal and others supporting it. Or puzzled Antonio, with why as the main word and others following. Crazy, huh? And that's just the first line. Another couple thousand, you'll make it to curtain call. Next!